So it's time for the what am I sowing and growing video for December and January. Not the best time, I must say, to be sowing seeds. What we'll do start off with though is we'll just have a quick look back at November, and I'll just talk you through the things that we sowed in November and might show you some just little clips of those things. And really pay attention to the scenarios under which I'm sowing those seeds and the rationale for it, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense in most cases to do anything in December and January. But if you got the right situations, you've got the right equipment, then it might do. So let's just quickly take a look at November. So I started some garlic in module trays and that rooted up really nicely. It's always worth checking the roots when you start garlic off in module trays, because what you often find is there's loads of root growth and the roots are coming through the bottom of the trays, but there's no real growth actually above the surface of the tray. But if you don't get them planted out, then they get root bound. So it's really worth paying more attention to the root growth than the top growth with garlic. That's also the case with garlic in the ground. A lot of people worry that my garlic's not come up, and it's just putting roots down and it'll come up in its own good time. Garlic almost always comes up, just don't worry about it. This year, because it's been super mild, most people's garlic is probably too big and floppy, and probably going to not enjoy the winter very much. Much better if your garlic was that big really at this time of year than this sort of size. Anyway, broad beans, they're doing well, growing a bit too big, so we've had to tie those into canes already and put a little bit of shelter up for them from the wind. Brussels sprouts and things like that, they're doing well, little tiny seedlings, that's what we want at this time of year. Lettuces to grow under these grow lights behind me here. They're looking quite nice. They're up on the top of a wardrobe right now, which is my favourite growing area because it's nice and cool, nice steady temperature, out of any natural light. There's no sort of swings of temperature or anything like that. And they just grow really predictably and really enjoy it on the wardrobe. But they'll be moving down onto these just so I can enjoy the psychological benefits of being surrounded by growing plants and lots of nice bright light, which really helps with seasonal affectiveness disorder. So yeah, lots and lots of lovely lettuces, and some of those are going to go into beds that are just kind of coming free. So I've got quite a few beds coming free at the moment from autumn crops. I hate to have a bed without living roots in the soil, and so lettuce is a really great thing to be planting out in December. They just seem to do really well. They're really, really hardy, provided that they're under cover. And, don't mind going below zero, don't mind being frosted and all that sort of thing. Little lettuces, super tough. They'll give you a really good early start in spring next year. Same is true with spinach. So I've got some spinach just planted out, another batch of spinach just about to be planted out. It's just a great way to get living roots in your soil and give you an early start. Late red winter red onions, they are also doing really nicely. So red onions that I planted back in October, they're way too big now. Almost certainly they'll go to seed because they're just going to be too big by the time they get to the beginning of spring. They're going to think they're in the second year. And when they're in the second year, of course, they go to seed. So I'm really pleased that I saved about 100 of my red onion sets and put them in the ground in November, sort of about 10th of November or something like that, which is what I actually recommend. And they are now this sort of size, which is great for overwintering. So absolutely perfect. So I'm really pleased that I split them. And the reason that I did that split is because the first batch, the ones I did in October, I don't mind if they go to seed. I just want them that little bit earlier because we'll have run out of red onions in the store this year because of, we don't want to talk about onions anymore. So and one thing I didn't do is I didn't do my last batch of Napoli carrots, and I'm not going to do them. And the reason, I've got loads of carrots in the ground. they'll last me until the end of April. Then I've got enough carrots in containers to last me all the way through May and into early June. And this next batch is the one kind of to go for mid-June. I've decided to do a trial sowing that in January instead of sowing it in November, partly because it just takes up less space in the polytunnel if I do it that way, but also just I want to see how well it does. I'll just germinate it in this conservatory, so for the first 10 days it'll be in here. As soon as I see the seedlings germinate, I'll pop it back in the polytunnel. So they just need that little bit of heat just to get them germinated in January, otherwise it'll be really variable. It's just so easy just to have a couple of containers under the desk in the polytunnel in the conservatory out of the way, just for a few days. So Mara de Bois, new strawberry variety to me, highly recommended, apparently very popular in France, and got those in. And they're really, bare-rooted strawberries never look very good, do they, when they arrive in the post? But they're looking really nice now. I'm quite surprised because it's quite cold outside now, but they've really perked up nicely. So that is pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about for November. And so let's take a look at December. Okay, so I've got this little recurring thing, pea shoots. If you like pea shoots, and we quite like pea shoots, then you can just do them on the windowsill. And I've got a video showing how to do pea shoots back in the history there somewhere if you want to search for that. But this year we're actually not doing pea shoots just because we've got so much food at this time of year. We just don't need any additional food. And, to be honest, pea shoots grown at this time of year, they're not the sweetest. And we really like lovely sweet pea shoots rather than, sort of mediocre ones. So we come to the peppers, both the sweet peppers and chili peppers, and I experimented with starting them in early December, I think 5th of December last year, and I gotta say it was actually really successful. I think I got results that are pretty much the equivalent of overwintering them, but without the hassle of overwintering them, and really healthy plants and a really nice early harvest in kind of June, mid-June sometime there, and well into July, and of course they just continue to crop all the way through. I just got a really nice big harvest off them, and so I was really pleased with that experiment, and so I'm going to repeat it. I'm only going to do a quarter of my sweet peppers, and I'm going to do all of my chili peppers because I don't do very many chili peppers because we don't eat very many hot peppers. So I'm only going to do, I think, I'm going to do 6 pots, basically, 6 plants. And I'm going to do Anaheim and jalapeno. And they're both mild, as I say, because we're not that into really hot peppers. And they must be started under grow lights. And you must have a place where you can keep them above 11 degrees centigrade. And if you can't do those two things, start them in March or something, because you've really got to have, a good level of light and a warm place for them. And if you haven't got enough light, they'll just be really leggy. And if you can't keep them warm enough, then that'll just reduce the ultimate harvest that you get from them. So I happen to have grow lights, and I can keep this conservatory quite cost effectively above 11 degrees centigrade at night. It costs me, I think, about 30 pence a night or something like that, even with the elevated costs of electricity. And yeah, I just really like growing them. It's just really nice, again, to be surrounded by living things and lots of bright light. So that's kind of my justification for it. Now, the sweet peppers, my favourite for this time of year is long yellow Ringo. I always seem to get a really early harvest from it, even though it's not really known to be an early pepper, but it's always, for me, by far the earliest one when it started at this time of year. So I was only just going to do long yellow Ringo. I wasn't going to do anything else. But I've decided that I'm just going to try a few Red King, because Red King are really big, really nice stuffing sweet pepper, but they take a long time to ripen. So I thought, yeah, they're a good one to start early because they take such a long time to come ripe. So because I've got the long yellow Ringo for my early one, and I've got the Red King one because it's such a great pepper to have, but normally I'm waiting until September time or something to get it. So by starting it nice and early, hopefully I'll get it in July, maybe early August or something like that. So it's a first for me. We'll see how well it does. So the next one is tough ball onions. Now, I know some people will probably be saying just start your main crop onions in December. And, I've tried it in December and I've tried it in January. I just much prefer to do it in early February or mid-February. I just find I get much better results. The plants are so much healthier. I'm not using up space that I could be using for other things, like these peppers, for example, that really benefit from being done early. But the onions, they just don't really benefit. They're just weak and sickly plants, basically, is what you're growing. However, what does benefit are the overwintered, so Japanese type onions, because they start to bulb at 14 when the daylight hours are 14 daylight hours. Whereas your main crop onions don't start to bulb until 16 daylight hours. So it's worth having your Japanese type onions, the ones you would normally overwinter, so plant out in October, for example. It's worth doing those a little bit early, because then they're a little bit bigger, and that means that when they start to bulb, they're bigger, they've got more leaf area, and as a result, they can actually support bulbing, whereas, because they've got enough leaf area for it. Whereas if you started those in mid-February, by the time they start bulbing in April, they wouldn't have enough leaf area. So that is the rationale for only doing the Japanese onions. Now, Tough Ball happens to be a really good keeper as well, and it'll generally keep until about January time. So it's a useful one to have as a kind of hedge against any other problems with your main crop onions. And what I find is that a tough ball onion sown in December with some grow lights, so about 30 days worth of grow lights, they will be ready at the beginning of July. Now, I have got some that I started back in August, and I've also got some that I started in early September, and they, in theory, might be ready, well, they'll be ready quite small, this sort of size, in May, and then they'll be good sort of size in June, and they'll be really big in July. But this batch I'm starting in December, almost certainly, you could guarantee, like 95% certain, they won't go to seed. But ones started back in August and September, if you have a mild winter like we've had, and if we then have a mild spring, they might well be too big come spring. They'll think they're in the second year and they'll go to seed. So that is my rationale for having this late batch. And as I say, I won't do any of my main crop onions until February. But, if you want to do your main crop onions earlier, that's fine. Let me know how it goes. So next up, lettuces. We eat a lot of lettuce, and so other people might not want to be doing a batch of lettuce in December, but for me, these were going to go under grow lights, and they're going to be under grow lights for the whole of their life. And that will mean that a sowing be early December, that'll be ready to eat in early February, and then we'll eat those for 3 or 4 weeks until late February. By then, all the lettuce that I've got in the ground will be back and growing strongly, and I won't need these lettuces that I've grown under grow lights. But for about 3 or 4 weeks in February, I will. And that's why I've also got another batch that will be ready in late December. They're the ones we'll eat all the way through January. And of course, you could in theory, eat the ones that you're eating all the way through January. You could eat those and continue eating them into February. But I do find that growing under grow lights is quite tricky, and keeping those plants really healthy with just the right amount of water, just the right amount of ventilation, not having any insects issues and things like that, all those things are a little bit tricky. And so just having another batch is really a useful kind of hedge against anything going wrong with the first batch. So that's why I do this second batch. And so you might not want to do that because you might not have grow lights, you might not eat as much salad as us. You know, we eat like 20 litres of salad or more every week. So that's why we're doing lettuce. And so they're going to be under grow lights for the whole life on this shelving unit here. Looking really beautiful, hopefully. So finally, for December, I'm doing 2 batches of salad onions. And that's just because we eat loads and loads of salad onions. And although we've got thousands of salad onions in the ground, because we get through, I don't know, many hundreds of salad onions a week, I just need to keep continuity of supply. And I really like to interplant my lettuce beds with salad onions. And I will have lettuce that I start in January, and I'll want to interplant salad onions into it. And so I want to start the salad onions about a month before I start the lettuces, so that they're fairly big, substantial plants by the time they go in between the lettuces, because otherwise they can get a little bit overwhelmed by the lettuces. We want if that's the kind of top of the lettuce, you know, we want the salad onions sort of this sort of high above the top of the lettuce, not down here and overwhelmed by the lettuce. All right, so that is December. So in this video, I probably mentioned grow lights far too many times. And to be honest, most of the things that I do, you can do without grow lights. You just have to start things back in sort of September, October, November, overwinter them and things like that. Grow lights just make things a lot more fun. And yeah, I really like them. So if you want to find out more about grow lights, then take a look at my ebook. I'll put a link to that in the description below. I'll put a link to the section of the book on growing with lights. It's in the basics section of the ebook if you want to find it for yourself. And also at the start of the ebook there is a link to my Amazon store, and that links to some of the grow lights that I recommend. And I do also recommend that you look at my comments on those grow lights. They're not particularly amazing, but because Amazon doesn't give you very much space to put a comment in, but I have put comments in where I can, recommending, you know, specific things for specific scenarios. So yeah, take a look at that. And if you do buy it from that link from my Amazon store, then I do get like £2 or something for each time you do that. So yeah, it buys me a cup of coffee. Anyway, so this video turned out to be way too long, so I'm going to split the video in 2. So if you watch the first part, then the second part will come in a day's time probably, and that will cover what I'm going to sow in January. So I hope you like this quick video. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.